can't miss a meal. They got to get their 6 to 8 meals in. Otherwise, they're going to lose muscle. They're going to shrivel up. It actually doesn't work that way. Welcome to By Jim Reys Podcast. Welcome to By Jim Reys Podcast. This is our first episode. Producer Phil, can you believe that? We're doing this now.
Right.
We're going to do this.
First episode, Mr. Jim.
All right. By Jim Reys Podcast is going to be a culmination of over 40 years of a bodybuilding journey, I should say.
I thought you were 31 years old or something.
Right? I might look 31. Thank you, right? My mom might think so. But I'm actually 60 years old. I have been fit my whole life. This is not a transformation story. My story is I was a kid athlete, decided to be a bodybuilder, walked into my first gym, and believe it or not, Ed Corney, if for you bodybuilder enthusiasts would know who that is, that was one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's friends, signed me up for my first membership, and he was actually my first bodybuilding mentor when I decided to take that journey. And here I am now. I am 60 years old. Been fit forever, did shows, competed. I was, if people know the company Myogenics, I was the poster boy, or I'm on the label. I was for 21 years of the Aftershock recovery drink. So it was a great product. Still use it today, even though they have rebranded. I am not on it anymore. It's been a life journey. Like I said, it's been wonderful to help people. I've started out helping more athletes, but I believe it or not, I think I get a little more satisfaction of helping regular people that are struggling with fitness and are struggling with gut health. That's where I get, I think, more of a satisfaction of helping.
And you used to say you've been kind of doing gut health before gut health was the thing, right?
Right. So I'm a lifetime bodybuilder, and what's different about me is I combine health with bodybuilding. And so that's going to be a lot of gut health, and it's super popular now. I've been doing that for decades, where I help people have better gut function by cleansing the gut, resetting their gut. There's a lot of people have food intolerances, and they're actually simpler to change than you think to help heal the gut. And one of the main functions of doing that, or one of the main reasons of doing that, is so your diets will work better. Because a lot of times people will try a diet, this didn't work for me, that didn't work for me, this upset my stomach, I get bloated on this. So they think it's a diet, where maybe it's just gut function. So we got to start there, and then you're going to absorb food better. Diet's going to work better for you, and you have more options then. So that's a lot what I do.
And you would just say that that's kind of frustrating for those of us regular people that don't have abs, where it's frustrating. You see a little bit of results, but it's not as fast, but it's somebody talking to you, it's all about what you put in your gut. And I am a big example how much I have failed, at that. And I love hearing that you're the guru of this gut health, and you actually have business. You've been doing this for years.
Absolutely. I had a supplement store locally for 20 years, and it kind of evolved into, I got a partnership, and actually evolved into a wellness center now. So I'm still in the business field doing that, supplements. And now we've added wellness with massage, nurses, hyperbaric chamber, a lot of those red light, a lot of health modalities.
Yeah. Like here in town up north in Fresno, and
absolutely.
Man, God, I would say, God's in this thing, because you really have made a mission to impact lives. I've seen a lot of the testimonials, kind of helped you on a little bit of the behind the scenes marketing. And I'm like, man, you really have not just seen the science, you're seeing the heart aspect of it, and how people bring your knowledge into daily living.
Absolutely. And I have a story that just kind of reminds me of this. I had a client, 65 years old, and this is years ago, never went on a vacation because she always, since her childhood, had gut issues. So she knew if she did something off script, she's going to be in the bathroom. It's going to be a bad night. Took about 4 to 6 months working with her. And at 65 years old, she went on her first out-of-town vacation. Didn't have to worry about something. Wow. So that was one of my most rewarding clients, actually, to change. That was a life changer for her. So
yeah, I can't wait to everybody listening. You're going to hear a lot of great stories that Jim has shared off camera and behind the scenes, and I can't wait to just see what this podcast becomes. You hear locally and amongst the athletes to us regular folk.
And one of the things I do too is every diet I do and every program or protocol I do for clients, I have done myself. So I just as a as a trial, I ate a vegan diet for 2 years. Just to try it out. That was my case study, if you will.
That's hard. You couldn't do that.
Right.
How many years? 2 years?
2 years straight. So I did not have any animal products for 2 years. And there were some pluses and minuses, but I gained the knowledge of doing that. So I actually do those. And I would say that is not my favorite diet. I would tell you that that's not a diet that most people should do. I'm going to get in trouble there. But I think exposing yourself to different diets is the way to go. I don't think you should just do the same diet. There is no perfect diet to do all the time. I think we need to change our diet, and like as the season changes, also like do diets for a little while, take things in, take things out. That's a better approach, and I think it's going to give you more what they call metabolic flexibility, so your body can adapt to different diets a little easier.
Metabolic flexibility. I like that.
Yeah,
we'll learn more about that, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in today's episodes, we're going to talk about a couple things. We're talking about gut function right now, and we're going to talk about fasting. So fasting is very unbodybuilder-ish. People are like, "Ooh, I'm going to lose muscle." They're afraid. A lot of bodybuilders are afraid to miss a meal because they think their muscles are going to fall off them. Which I tell you, it's not that easy to lose muscle. You can do it very little. I know some bodybuilders that are brave enough to do very little protein to just help their body to not overwhelm their body. And you don't lose a lot of muscle. You'll lose a little volume for a little while, but your body comes back.
Yeah, well, I've lost a lot of muscle. Wait, and haven't had those muscles yet. So I ain't developed those.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about gut health a little bit more. So, have you used Tums before? Antacids? Those are probably the worst things to do. Let's stop it right now. Don't use those. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of how that works. So when you're starting to feel heartburn or acid stomach, it's actually you're not producing enough acid. Does it sound backwards? Counterintuitive, right? Sounds like you're producing too much. So you take that reducer and you don't feel the symptom of that. But what's happening is you're not making enough stomach acid. So what happens is the muscles of the lower esophagus sphincter muscle does not close when you don't have enough acid in your stomach. So it doesn't close. You start feeling that acid. So when you have enough acid, it'll close and you won't feel that. So the fix is to add more acid to your stomach, not to take an acid reducer. When you take an acid reducer and lower that very important stomach acid, you're not going to digest your food. Surprisingly, your body's not going to know what digestive enzymes it needs to break down your food, and you're going to maldigest your food. So if down the line, what can that lead to? That can lead to some serious colon problems for you down the road. So watch out for those. Don't use those. Throw those away. Let's get it fixed the right way.
Wow. That's a good reel right there.
Yeah, right there, right?
Yeah, that was excellent. So is that the same when you say Tums, like for acid reflux? I actually take medicine for acid reflux when I eat a certain thing. And because at night I wake up choking on all that stuff. So you saying that may not be the only choice for me, somebody like me?
That not only is it not the only choice, that is the wrong choice to do is any kind of acid reducers. We have to fix the gut is the problem. They might be sensitive to certain things, but you're not producing acid. We never have too much acid. That's not an issue that your body can do.
Wow. So, would you say this general, but it's specific with this, how doctors sometimes may try to put a Band-Aid on something that's not really the deeper issue, and it's kind of like a shortcut sometimes, or they kind of make things worse with a certain thing. Like for me, I've had this acid reflux for quite a while. It makes it hard for me to sleep, and it really just wakes me up in the middle of the night. So what should I do?
Well, okay, this is going to sound like a broken record, and you've probably heard this now. We hear this and hear this, is that they're not treating the root cause of the issue. They're putting a Band-Aid on it, like you said. We call it a Band-Aid. We are treating a symptom. So the symptom is not the solution. The solution is to fix the gut, to get enough stomach acid. So we have to, what your doctor should have did, but they don't do, and hopefully we'll see some changing coming. Ask you about your lifestyle, ask you about your diet, ask you about your stress levels, and that's a big component of how much acid you make and how your stomach works also. So those are where you should start. And then when we fix digestive systems, we usually start with cleansing the gut. Let's just kind of let's clear the shelves out. Let's get the junk out, and then we'll start putting good stuff in. And that's one of the easy approaches. So like a lot of gut health issues, the same fix is almost for all of them a lot of times. Take out the bad, let's put in the good.
So take out the bad, put in the good. Now, as diet things you eat, is there any kind of recommendation you would say, either supplements, vitamins, or more of people you see, a lot of people I see a lot online and Instagram that take a little bit of this fruit with this fruit and this turmeric or something and kind of help with the cleanse or help with, is that, because to me, I feel it's kind of, when I have citrus, I feel like it makes it worse sometimes.
Right. So there's a few ways to do that. Mm-hmm. We'll do something probably fruit related, okay. Probably supplement related. On bodybuilding, on bodybijimreyes.com, you'll see I have programs just for that. We'll just do gut cleanses, detox programs, but it will be a combination of a different type of diet for a few days, depending on the issue, and it'll definitely be some supplementation. And now we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna push things out as we are actually putting the good stuff in. And we usually have very high success rate on resetting the digestive system and fixing those issues. All right, let's talk about fasting. So fasting is very unbodybuilder-ish because bodybuilders are so afraid to lose muscle. You can't miss a meal. You probably know them, especially the young guys. You can't miss a meal. They got to get their 6 to 8 meals in. Otherwise, they're going to lose muscle. They're going to shrivel up. It actually doesn't work that way. They'll learn, just like I did. So fasting is probably my favorite health hack. It's the ultimate cleanse, the ultimate health modality. I am not a fan of intermittent fasting. I don't think intermittent fasting, which is super popular, I believe is just calorie restriction for most people. So will you lose weight? Yeah, you're going to lose weight. You're just not going to eat as much. We take care of calorie restriction by having macro goals. So I don't think it doesn't matter of the window. And that window of time, they say, well, that's going to have autophagy, you're going to cleanse. That's not long enough in my experience to do any of that. So I'm a fan of fasting, but it's going to be prolonged fasting. I'm talking days of fasting.
So what does that look like? So if you're advising a bodybuilder versus a normal person like me, how does that apply differently for your body type or your goals you're trying to do on the way you fast? Because you brought up intermittent fasting. I hear is very fasting. I've tried it. I don't know how many times. I'm not going to eat till this time of the day, and then I'm not going to eat past this time. And so tell me, how does that apply? So
intermittent fasting is calorie restriction. So that's a way to just eat less food. So that's your diet. That's your calorie reduction. But in my beliefs and my understanding is that's all it is. Is it going to be that health? There's definitely some health to it, but it's not long enough to really tap in to the health benefits of fasting. But you just don't start. You just go, today I've never fasted and I'm going to do a 5-day fast. So fasting is something we definitely have to learn and get through. So I usually have people start with like a 1 day, like let's go 24 hours. Then we get good at that. We get comfortable with that. We go to 2 days and then 3 days. And then after, if you've mastered the 72-hour fast, you're ready to go as long as we want to go. So, my longest fast is a 14-day fast. A little interesting side note of fasting, of that 14-day fast. On day 13, again, not taking anything, hormones, any of that stuff. I had some blood work done on day 13, and my testosterone levels, if you know testosterone levels of males, I was in my 50s. My testosterone came back at 1,500. So that's like off the charts.
Yeah.
That's higher than an 18-year-old. So
300 to 700 is kind of like the downhill part, right?
Right. Yeah. And so that's part of the magic of fasting. For me, I think the magic number has always been about that day 5, where all of a sudden the brain energy starts going through the roof. The creativity, you start getting super productive. I definitely believe you should work out very lightly during fasting. You don't want to try to kill your workout still, but I definitely think you should move the body. You should sweat, maybe get in a sauna. These are always going to be beneficial to aid in the magic of the fasting. But it's the cure-all, because your body will start doing something called autophagy, and something called apoptosis. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Autophagy is your body eating. So your body is looking for fuel. Just because you're not eating doesn't mean your body has stopped consuming. So your body, that's what our fat cells are for. Our fat cells, or our onboard refrigerators, if you will. So those are our stored energy, our stored food for your body. So your body will start eating those. And autophagy also means that your body will also get look at cells that are not viable. You got a cell that's in balance, and that's what a free radical in our body is called. Your body will consume what's good of that and discard what's not good about that. And then apoptosis, that's an immune system function in our body. When we fast, it starts to heighten. Apoptosis is when your body will start looking at the disease cells. Let's say a cancer cell, for instance, and your body will attack that cell, kill the mitochondria of the cell, and the cell will die. Your body won't consume that cell, but your body will discard that cell. And that's the difference between apoptosis and autophagy. So that's one of the magics of fasting. And that is how you get over. That's the ultimate hack for health and how you get your body healthy through fasting. And I guide clients through long fasts, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 10 days. I've had a 21-day fast, unadvised by the person's doctor. They got off all 9 medications, felt great, and got a new doctor after that. Imagine that.
Wow, I was going to ask that right there, is that a lot of doctors, or certain doctors, have said that fasting is great. Others have said that there's not. And I'll say that because I've seen a lot of stuff people see on TikTok, Instagram, all these different things. And where do you stand when people say once a year you should go like on a long fast that is actually good for diseases, or is it not good for diseases?
It's definitely good to eradicate diseases in your body. I used to do once a year, and I'm now, the benefits are so good. I'm more of a believer of seasonal. So as the season changes, as you're changing the decorations in your house, right? Let's do some spring cleaning. Let's do some fall, resetting of our body too. So I believe, I know there's 4 seasons, but not here in Fresno. There's not. So I'll, 2 to 3 fasts, at least 5 days or longer. I think the longer the better, and depending on the person and the lifestyle. But definitely want to implement fasting as part of your health regimen in your fitness.
Now, is there like certain types of fast concerning like you only fasting carbs or meat or all food or liquids or juices? So
when I'm thinking fasting, this is a water fast. So you are just consuming water. We will definitely put electrolytes in your water. And those our electrolytes are made of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. So those are the components you're going to add to the water. Because what you'll find in fasting, if you're drinking reverse osmosis water at the refrigerator, it's going right through you because there's no minerals to absorb the water. So water is going to pass right through you, and you're going to be thirsty all day and drinking all day and peeing all day. So we definitely want to add electrolytes, but that's all we need. We need to have 0 calories. We need our body to start tapping into itself to get the benefits of the fast and that autophagy that we talked about. I will guide you through it. I have people check in daily on fasting. It seems to help to hold your hand a little bit, so you're not just starving on your own. And being hungry during fasting, does that happen? Yeah. Does it get easier? Yeah, it gets easier. Just like anything we've done in life, you're just hungry. Unfortunately, for some people, I've had some clients fast and they have to cook dinner for the family during the fast. Now that's torture.
That is torture.
Because the way our digestive system works, you start smelling food, your body starts getting ready to digest that food. So,
wow. I found for me, in the spiritual aspect, as a young man, I would fast 1 day a week. And then once a month, I would do 3-day fasts. And this is like, I'm talking about like 19 to 21. And I was like playing basketball all the time and doing stuff. But it really helped. For me, it's a spiritual discipline. It just says that for me, our body is subject to something bigger than what our desire is. That's just a spiritual thing.
I'm 100% right in there with you, man. So, our bodies were designed to do this.
Yeah.
That's what our fat cells, man can't, they try to keep hacking this system and try to do something better, but there is no better than the creator. We're going to do one supplement that I think everybody should have. Well, I'm going to say everybody, but if you have a liver, you should do this supplement. So who does that mean? That's everybody, right?
Yeah.
So TUDCA. Have you ever heard of TUDCA? A lot of people haven't heard of TUDCA. It's a bile acid. They call it a bile salt because it sounds a little more forgiving. People don't want to take acid. It causes more thinning of the bile and more bile flow. And the wonders of bile on our body. Do yourself a justice. Google benefits of TUDCA. You would be amazed why you haven't heard of this, and you should run out and get some.
And we're going to put the link in the bio below, the description. So why is taking that so beneficial for somebody?
Well, everybody that has a liver usually has liver congestion. So it's a good way to kind of cleanse the liver, help flow through the liver and through the gallbladder, is to create more bile flow, because that's what it's made in the liver, stored in the gallbladder, if you didn't know. A lot of doctors will steal gallbladders. Let's try to save those things first by doing things like this.
So let me ask you this. I've called the doctor, and I've actually gone to the emergencies a few months ago. I had to scare you. You were there with me as far as afterwards, and I was telling you I was a little shaken up. And they said I have probably a fatty liver. And so would that help somebody like me?
Absolutely would help something. Any liver condition, cirrhosis of the liver, everything. Tutka is your magic weapon that you never heard of. I want to thank you for joining us at By Jim Reys Podcast, our very first episode. Like, follow, and subscribe for more tips and stories about our journeys, and hopefully we'll share some of your journeys. You can also follow us on all the social media platforms. We're brand new, so we're just launching all of those.
TikTok, man, you're on everything now. Instagram, TikTok, all the others, and so
we're just starting.
Yeah, and I love Jim Reyes, all your insights, inspirations, and all the stories that you're sharing. I'm looking forward to you sharing with me as a producer here, but also too, I know you're gonna be sharing with everybody here, right?
Absolutely. Stay tuned for a little more. By Jim Reys Podcast. I'd like to thank and dedicate this episode to my sister Diana. I want to say to my sister Diana, her faith was so strong during the end journey of her life that it was so inspiring. She wasn't afraid. She knew where she was going, she said it wasn't her strength, it was God's strength. And I'm gonna take that and go with it.